Lonnie Chisenhall's grand slam last night got the Indians to win number 50. Yes, those are your Indians in the 1902 throwback unis, and they're just a game and a half behind the Tigers. Can the Tribe sweep away the Royals on their way to the All-Star break? Find out next on Sports Time Ohio. From Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland on a gorgeous, sunny Sunday afternoon, it's the final game before the All-Star break as the Tribe tries to put the broom to the Kansas City Royals. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Baseball's All-Star break has never truly been the halfway point of the season. So we always talk about the first half and the second half. It's never been an equal split. But this year, it's a lot. 10 games more played this year than last season. But the Indians go into the All-Star break, regardless of what happens today, with a lot of momentum.
Well, and a game and a half out right now behind the Detroit Tigers. When you look at this year's break compared to last year, you can see it was 85 games last year. It is going to be 95 this year. And you averaging a few more runs per game than last year. The home run total is really up. That's been good. The pitching in the ERA is just about the same, but I like the momentum they've had. This has been a streaky team this year, but you know what? When they get good pitching, they've been a solid ball club to watch, and they've been a fun ball club to watch.
And solid pitching is what they're looking for today from Ubaldo Jimenez. Rick, when he goes 6 innings this year, he's 4-0 with an ERA of 0.90, and the Indians are 5-1 in those games.
And he'll be making his 4th start against the Royals. These two matched up, remember, back in Kansas City. Ubaldo had a 5-0 lead, and Shields came back. In Kansas City, I should say, came back. They ended up winning that ball game, but Shields is 1-5 in his career against the Indians.
Should be fun. Indians and the Royals. Tribe with a chance to sweep Kansas City this afternoon. Ubaldo Jimenez on the hill. Can the Indians run their win streak to 4 in a row and bring old Mo with them into the All-Star break? Find out the play-by-play action. It's coming up next. And we welcome you into Progressive Field for the series finale here on a Sunday afternoon. Quickly, a look at the Indians starting lineup brought to you by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Actually, this is the Royals starting nine. Alex Gordon, Eric Hosmer, Billy Butler. Then you've got Perez, Moustakas, and Kane, followed by Lowe, Giavotella, and Escobar. Now Ubaldo Jimenez into the line, and today's first pitch is in there for a called strike. .78 degrees, our game time temperature. Some cloud cover moving into downtown. Gordon trying to bunt his way aboard, and that tells you all you need to know about his offensive woes of late. Just 2 hits in his last 21 at-bats.
That might be the first time I've ever seen him try a bunt attempt, to be honest with you. Surprised me.
Well, he has normally swung the bat pretty well against the Indians. Ned Yost's club has lost 4 straight and 7 of their last 12. And the Royals now 7 games off the pace in the AL Central. Fastball line to center, and that will get down for a base hit. And Gordon aboard to start the game now for Kansas City.
You know, I looked down at the numbers after I saw him bunt, and he was just 2 for 17 against Ubaldo.
Yeah.
And then what's he do? He comes back and hits a line drive on a low heater. And that ball had too much of the plate right there. So he gets it started off with a base hit.
While Kansas City has slipped, the Indians have turned it on. They've won 3 straight. And they start the day just a game and a half behind Detroit, who lost to Texas yesterday 7-1. Max Scherzer suffering his first loss of the season in that game against the Rangers.
Isn't that funny? That's when we came home off of that trip where we were, a game and a half behind Detroit, right? And we opened up that 4-game series with Detroit, and guess what? Going into that break, we're a game and a half back.
Down low to Eric Hosmer.
They've been able to make their hay and put together some winning streaks and win the series. And then they play Detroit, and Detroit is beating them up.
Hosmer takes outside 3-0. Eric Hosmer 2 for 8 in the series. Both of those hits coming in last night's game, and he has 30 multi-hit games on the year. That found the zone, 3-1. Bounced to first. Swisher's got it. Goes to second. There's one. Back to Jimenez. A double play. Terrific job by Nick Swisher to go get the ball and then quickly start the double play.
And really a nice job by Jimenez to get over there. He sprinted over to make sure that his footwork was going to be together. It's a one-hopper. Look at him sprint to first. And then Aviles sort of just waited till he got there and throws him a nice strike. A 3-6-1 double play. Well done. He got over there and in plenty of time.
I think it was obviously very important for Swisher to get rid of it quickly, to give Aviles time to kick the bag, get out of the way of the runner.
Yes.
And have a clean line to throw to first. So the Indians turn 2, and now Billy Butler takes a strike. Butler snapped an 0 for 12 with a couple of hits in last night's game. And a count 0-2. Good off-speed pitch by Jimenez. Reached for it and almost kept it fair, but punched it just wide of the bag at first.
Baldo making his 19th start, 7-4 record, 4.37 ERA. This is his 4th start this year against the Royals. He is 1-0 on the year. A couple of no decisions. He and Shields matched up back in Kansas City on the 4th of July. Ubaldo had 5 shutout innings and a 5-0 lead before they mounted a comeback in the 6th.
2-strike pitch. And Butler lines it to left field, coming hard. Brantley couldn't get to it. Second hit of the inning for Kansas City, and a 2-out base runner now.
Well, he just muscled that ball. He came inside, it got in on him, and he was able to get enough of it to get it over the infield, but not enough of it to where Brantley could even dive for it. He was thinking about it on the run, and then he just knew he couldn't get there.
So Salvador Perez to the plate. Another Royal hitter who is in the throes of a prolonged slump. Just 2 hits in his last 19 at-bats. Headed to the All-Star game. Mentioned this Friday night, Perez, the first Royals All-Star catcher since Darrell Porter in 1980. But this young man has put together a very solid season, both offensively and defensively. You hope for his sake and the Royals fan base sake that the injury problems are sort of behind him now. I mean, catchers are always going to get dinged up from time to time. But
well, he's a young, big kid. And, hopefully he does, you're right, stay healthy. They need him to.
3-1 to count with Mike Moustakas waiting on deck. Bang to third. Behind the bag, Chisenhall. Long throw across the diamond. Swisher with a great backhanded pick to end the inning. No runs, 2 hits, 1 man left. The Indians are coming to bat. Of the first, Terry Francona's starting lineup today looks like this. Michael Bourne, Asdrubal Cabrera, Jason Kipnis, Nick Swisher, Michael Brantley, and Carlos Santana. Mike Aviles, Lonnie Chisenhall, who's batting .292 in the 21 games he's played since getting called back up, and then Drew Stubbs batting 9th. Indians starting lineup brought to you by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance.
James Shields on the mound for the Kansas City Royals, and closes out the first half of his 20th start, which is team leading 20th start. This will be his 3rd start in the last 4 weeks against the Indians. And you know what? He's done a great job, although the wins, it doesn't translate. He's given them a lot of innings. He hasn't given up a lot of hits. And in his career, he is just 1-5 against the Tribe.
Michael Bourne leading it off for the Indians. 2 for 5 in the series. Michael's been a very steady and consistent performer. Batting average has taken a little bit of a dip here last 10 days or so. But, Rick, I've just gotten the sense that, and not just Indians players, but you're just seeing guys just look like they're a little bit fatigued.
Yeah, they need some time off, some rest. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you go through peaks and valleys. When you play every day,
right.
I mean, they see the light at the end of the tunnel, which is the All-Star break, and they get a few days off. And believe me, you're looking for it.
Bourne punches one into center field for a base hit to start the ball game.
There's a nice job of keeping your hands back, being fooled on the changeup, but kept his hands back enough to put the ball into center field. And Shields, that was a great pitch. You got to give Michael Bourne credit. You can see where he was fooled, but the hands were back. Shields, a fastball changeup, and has a breaking ball to go with it, and will use any pitch at any time. The last time he pitched against the Indians, he had issues with his control. He was not spotting the fastball early, and he was falling into trouble, falling behind the count. We'll see if that happens again. Normally, he's got very good control.
Now is Drupal Cabrera, who fouls one out of play. As Drupal in the DH role today. Cabrera batting just .230 since he's come back from the disabled list. And a one-up smash gets through. Bourne on his way to third. He'll make it without a play, and the Indians have him at the corners with nobody out here in the first inning.
Well, Cabrera, another nice job of hitting, getting enough of this ball, and another changeup. Down and away, he stayed back enough to get it past Giavotella at second base, and Bourne can easily go to third. So the Indians right now with a scoring opportunity after their first two hitters, and play from in front.
Well, Jason Kipnis headed to the All-Star game. You can see Jason in action Tuesday night on Fox. He and Justin Masterson will represent the Indians, and he looks at a ball outside. Kipnis has had a good series, going 4 for 7. There's Justin Masterson, the man in the middle right there. He'll be potentially pitching for the AL. Great honor for both Masterson and Kipnis.
Yeah, both first-time All-Stars, and it should be a nice ride for them. A great 3 days of fun.
The 2-0. Kipnis high fly ball, left field, should be deep enough. Gordon.
It will.
He'll make
Bourne
the catch.
on third.
Bourne will come home and score. The throw goes to second, and the Indians take a 1-0 lead as Kipnis drives in his 56th run of the year. Well, Jason Kipnis doing a tremendous job leading the Indians in RBIs.
And something he's done very well, staying on the ball, hitting it deep, and driving it to left field. So you get it deep enough. You don't have to worry with Bourne on third base. That's certainly deep enough to get him home. And if you're going to get James Shields, get him in the first inning. His ERA is 7.58. After that, it goes down considerably. So the Indians already on the board.
Nick Swisher taking. It's a called strike on the outside corner. When the Indians faced Shields and the Royals in Kansas City 10 days ago, it was Michael Bourne who singled and came home and scored the Indians' first run of the game in the first inning. They had 2 hits in that first inning off Shields. And, of course, you may remember Drew Stubbs hit the 2-run homer in the second inning, and you thought,
right,
wow, they're off and rolling with a 3-0 lead. But Kansas City did something very few teams do. They were shut out through 5 and then scored 10 runs in their last 3 innings.
That was the first time for them in the history of their team, wasn't it? That they scored 10 runs in after the 6th.
Swisher a swing and a miss, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Kipnis with that sacrifice fly. That's his 7th on the year, which takes the team lead now. He and Brantley were tied at 6, and that's the 34th for the Indians this year, which is well done when you get that man on third base.
Down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Shields comes set. And Swisher hits one high in the air left field again. Gordon over. Near the line. Makes the catch just into foul ground. 2 away.
Let's check out the Royals defense behind Shields today. It'll be Gordon in left, Kane in center, Lowe is in right, Moustakas at third, Escobar at short, Giavotella is at second, Hosmer at first with Perez behind the plate.
David Rackley calling the balls and strikes. Mark Carlson is at first. The crew chief Jerry Davis at second. Dan Isanya down at third. Michael Brantley taking a strike. .280 hitter on the year. He's batted .299 against right-handed pitching. Fouled away. The 0-2, and Brantley fouls it out of play to the left. The Indians trying for their 30th win of the year at home.
Which makes them the best home record in the league, doesn't it?
Well, nobody
in our division.
Nobody in the Central has more wins at home than the Indians.
Right, in our division, right.
And only 2 clubs in the American League have 30 home wins. Brantley is called out on strikes to end the first inning. But the Indians strike first. Jason Kipnis drives home Michael Bourne. After 1, Cleveland 1, Kansas City nothing. McDonald's now introducing 3 exciting new quarter pounders. And by Kia. Second inning here in Cleveland with the Tribe on top 1-0. For Kansas City, Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain, and David Lowe. Moustakas first ball swinging, fouls one out of play.
Well, in the first inning, it was sort of backwards because Ubaldo had Gordon and Butler down in the count 0-2. They ended up getting base hits. The other two hitters were 3 and 1. They ended up grounding out.
Well, let's see if it stays true.
Go.
You got
okay,
0-2.
It's 0-2 right here.
Mike Moustakas has been in a pretty good groove, too. He's hit .311 in his last 21 games. Checked his swing and it fouls back. Detroit has jumped to an early 1-0 lead against Texas in the first inning. The 0-2. Fouled right back. Hit on the ground at first. And Nick Swisher will take it himself. 1 down.
Let's take a look at the Kia Indians defense this afternoon behind Jimenez. It's going to be Brantley in left, Bourne in center, Stubbs is in right, Chisenhall at third, Aviles at short, Kipnis is at second, Swisher at first with Santana behind the plate.
Low and away for ball 1. Lorenzo Cain has hit in 5 straight games. Bouncer up the middle. Aviles near the bag. Boy, close play, and he's called safe.
Yeah. Well, it's good hustle. Good hustle by Cain. It was a high hopper. Aviles came to get the ball and then made the throw. Let's see. Maybe held on to it too long. Didn't know who was running. And Cain, there you'll see, beats it out. It'll go as an infield single. So good hustle by Lorenzo Cain. He was looking all the way.
1 on, 1 out now for David Lowe. Lowe is 1 for 8 in the series as Cain draws the throw. And it's ball 1. One-0 pitch, swung on and missed.
Started him off a couple off-speed pitches.
Well, I think David Lowe's already caught the attention of the Indians. He's batted .300 already in the games he's played here at Progressive Field.
Well, he probably has seen a steady diet of fastballs, as a lot of young kids and rookies do when they first come up. And you prove you can hit them. You know what? They make an adjustment on you. You start seeing different pitches in different counts. And if they know you're a first ball fastball hitter, or you track that fastball early in the count, you will see some off speed pitches early. And Ubaldo, the first 2 pitches off speed.
1-1 line drive off the glove, or maybe just beyond the reach of Aviles. He might have ticked it.
And guess what? That was a heater, and he took care of it. Hit it the other way, so a good job of hitting by David Lowe.
So back-to-back hits here in the second. Already 4 hits for the Royals. And Johnny Giovatello will be coming up now. Just beyond the reach of the leaping Mike Aviles.
Mike wanted to be about 3 inches taller.
Ubaldo looking for that ground ball again. He's already recorded 4 ground ball outs. Close pitch, 1-1. Alcides Escobar waits on deck. 1 gone here in the second. Low and away, 2-1. Now, the Indians' starting pitching has really been very good of late. When you talk about what they've been able to do last 7, 8, 9 games.
Yeah, last 7 games, they've been very good. 4-0 record, 181 earned run average. And the thing about it, it's over 6 innings per start. And that certainly helps.
Yeah. Well, Terry Francona believes that's going to be one of the biggest keys for the club in the stretch run. Ubaldo's having a tough time here, though. The infield hit. A line drive just beyond the reach of Aviles, and now a walk to Giovitella. Bases are loaded with 1 out for Alcides Escobar. Our stat of the game brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. 6 times they've gone 6 innings or more in the last 7 games, and Terry believes that, look, he thinks this bullpen can still be one of the better bullpens in the league. But the starters have to bridge that gap. They've got to get consistently deeper into games, which they have done. Last 7 games, that bears that out. They've got to do more of that in late July and in August.
Right. That's the key for every team in baseball. I mean, that 6th inning is a bridge inning where every starter, and even your best starters, they have a tough time filling that gap. If they can give you your 6 innings and then anything above that's a bonus. But the more you have to manage and utilize that bullpen earlier than that, it gets tough.
It'll be interesting. Bourne's coming home with a throw. Here comes the runner to the plate. He is safe. What a throw by Bourne. Santana put the tag on. Lorenzo Cain called safe at home by David Rackley, the umpire, and out comes Terry Francona to get a word.
Boy, oh boy, that was bang, bang. I'll tell you what. That was close as it gets. He slides in. I don't know if he got the foot in there before the tag. Let's take a look. It was right on the money. He was out, I think, because his left leg didn't hit the plate. If he goes straight in, his leg's in there. Watch, his right leg has to hit the plate.
Oh, he's out.
He is out because that left leg, he didn't go straight into the plate.
Yep.
So I'll tell you what, Kansas City catches a break there because his left leg wasn't on the plate when Santana applied the tag. His bent leg, which is his right one, ends up going over the plate. It was late, but the umpire was right there, called him safe, so we have a tie game.
Yeah, he was.
And they're
right
going to
there.
appeal at second base because they're going to say that Lowe left too early to go to third. So let's see what happens. He'll stop, walk it back, but you make sure that guy looking back, or they're going to appeal at third. They're saying no, he did not leave too early. All right, they were appealing third. I thought they were going to second. Look at this. Watch this. This is the slow motion. There's the tag, and there was nothing on the plate. So that's great camera work. But when you're at full speed, awfully hard to tell. And now Kansas City takes the lead.
Base hit by Gordon scores David Lowe. And it's 2-1 Royals. So the 2-out RBI single by Gordon. He's 2 for 2 and coming out of his offensive slump.
Well, they already have 5 hits, so they're doing a number on Ubaldo already. Even though this inning started, if you recall, with the Cain, they had 1 out. And then it was a routine ball hit to shortstop. Aviles didn't get it over there in time. Cain hustling down, beats it out. And then another base hit, a walk, a sac fly, and now a 2-out single.
Eric Hosmer banged into a double play his first time up, takes ball 1 inside.
So Kansas City able to answer that Indians' first run. That's one thing you want to try and do, is put that 0 on the board. No response runs.
Swung on and missed. The home plate umpire today, David Rackley, is a fill-in umpire. The regular on this crew is Brian Knight. But he was right on top of it. He just didn't get the call right.
Well, his one leg was past the plate, but it wasn't on the plate.
Yeah,
it was
it was
wide of the plate. It was close. It was bang bang, but called safe.
Missed inside, 2-2. Right back to Jimenez. He'll go to first. The inning is over. The Royals get a pair. Lead it 2-1, middle of the second. He was out at home. It looks like he might be talking to Dan Isanya, who's the third base umpire there. It's not a heated conversation. I think he's just telling Bourne what he saw on that play. I assume that's what he's talking about.
Oh, it would have to be at least that play.
Carlos Santana looks at a ball outside. Santana's hitting 4 straight. 3 for 6 in the series. That good off-speed pitch, and Carlos out in front of it. 1-1.
Yeah, Shields has 2 different kinds of changeups. One he can throw 81 to 83 or so, and one he can get up about 87. It depends on the grip.
There's a line drive single into right field for Santana. And the Indians have their 3rd hit of the game.
I think that might have been the harder one there.
Injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Zach McAllister making a rehab start last night at AA Akron, went 3 1/3. Allowed 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 5.
I like
61 pitches.
I like the 42 strikes.
Yeah.
You know, that's him. He's a strike throwing machine, so at least he's in the strike zone, which is good.
Well, that would be.
And he wasn't throwing his curveball either. You know, that's the one that they said he's not going to throw everything else but the curveball, so we'll see.
Be a nice boost to be able to get him back.
Sure it will. I'm sure he's anxious to get back. No fun sitting on the sidelines watching.
Aviles shoots one back out of play. Mike's had good career success against James Shields. Couple of home runs. 375 average. Ropes this one into left field. Gordon over to cut it off. Santana stops at second, and the Indians open the second inning the same way they opened the first.
Boy, both teams have their hitting shoes on today. They get the first two on again. A nice swing here on the breaking ball from Shields, and Aviles stays back, puts a good swing on it, and it's 4 hits now. All singles for the Indians.
And here is Lonnie Chisenhall.
That pitch there to Aviles was an 0-2 base hit.
Lonnie Chisenhall has been on a tear. In the 21 games he's played since getting called back from AAA, he's hit .292 with 7 doubles and now 3 homers, 14 driven in. Called a strike.
Well, they need to see Lonnie hit, and that's what he's here for.
Swung and missed at a good off-speed pitch. It's that changeup straight down.
He hit the breaking ball for a grand slam last night, a hanging curveball from
Jeremy Guthrie.
Yeah, from Guthrie. First pitch. Hit it deep, too.
Great clip of the game from last night. There's that hanger.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
Grand slam, first in the career of Lonnie Chisenhall. Helped the Indians to a 5-3 win over the Royals. Great clips. It's going to be great.
That's a fun trot around the bases for him there, being your first grand slam.
He's down on the count here, 0-2 with the first 2 aboard. Got a piece of that to stay alive. That's that changeup that he swung and missed at earlier, but this time he gets a piece of it.
One thing that makes Shields really tough is when he gets ahead of you like that, he can go outside the zone, you know, and get you to tease you and get you to swing at his pitch. He made a mistake to Aviles on the 0-2 pitch.
Checked on a high fastball.
Now they want to talk about how they want to put him away. Fouled off the changeup before that, went high fastball, and Shields is doing all the talking right there, letting Perez know exactly how he wants to go about it. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come inside here either with a good fastball. That's what he locked Michael Brantley up with.
Outside. 2-2. That's that teaser.
Just trying to, he's nibbling to try and get you to chase after his pitch. And so far, Chisenhall able to lay off.
And on the 2-2. Fights it off. Came inside with a fastball that time.
That's where I thought he was going the pitch before. A lot of times when you get down in the count 1-2 as a hitter, you're looking for something off speed and probably protecting away, and you're going to give maybe that fastball on the inside part of the plate.
Once again, Shields wants to talk to Perez.
You know, this could be because he knows that there's a catcher on second base, too. And they may be talking about something with the signs. I'm not saying that they're going to flash him or Santana's going to give him. You said Chisenhall, a rookie. Don't even know if he would take him. Veteran teams would do that. And Ned Yost played on a few veteran teams in Milwaukee that would give the signs. I'm witness of that.
The 2-2 in the dirt. Good block, full count, and then you have to be confident as the hitter that your guy got the right sign.
True. You let the guy know you've got him, and if you're going to relay him, you got to trust him. There's a time or two you can get fooled and get tricked, but it's no different than not knowing what's coming.
The set of the payoff pitch, and Chisenhall blasts it foul.
He's worked his way back into this at-bat very well.
Well, James Shields has thrown 33 pitches so far in the game. 24 have been strikes, so it's not as though he's avoiding contact. Struck him out with a good tailing fastball. First out of the inning, second strikeout for Shields.
He went at him with hard stuff away. He ends up winning the battle, and that's a good pitch. Too close to take. Chisenhall had to stay on it. And couldn't foul that one off. You can see he's a little upset because he worked his way back into the at-bat. Out number one.
And up comes Drew Stubbs in an 0-for-7 hole. Five out of 19 on the homestand. Pounded him inside, but in off the plate for ball one.
That's the day you said last time we were in Kansas City and faced Shields. Stubbs hit that home run. He have 4 RBIs, and it was at July 4th.
Yep, and a 2-run homer in that second inning for Stubbs.
He's got to pretend it's July 4th. It's the 14th, but just take the one off of it. Keep going because he's had a couple of great days on July 4th, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Yeah, that game in Kansas City, 4 RBIs, the home run.
2-run single. Yeah, it was a great day.
Outside. He had a 5 RBI game July 4th, 2010, when he was with Cincinnati at Wrigley Field. So he loves the 4th of July. And that 3-0 pitch in there for a strike. Two on, 1 out in the second. Tribe down 2-1. Could be a huge at bat right here in this game. 3-1 pitch. Popped him up. First baseman Eric Hosmer's there. Near the bag, into foul ground. 2 away.
Well, swing for the fences with the new Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com. It's available on iPhone and iPad, and you can download it free today.
So after giving up back-to-back singles, James Shields had to work hard, but he got the strikeout against Chisenhall. Then he gets Stubbs on a 3-1 pitch to pop up just into foul territory near the bag at first. And it brings up Michael Bourne, who singled and scored in the first. Outside with it, 1-1. Michael Bourne has driven in 3 runs on this homestand. 19 on the year. 1-2 the count. Seems to me that ever since he struck out Chisenhall, he's gone to more of the hard stuff here.
Yes, you know what? I think he realized these guys may be sitting on that changeup, and he's been able to throw some fastballs by him.
There's another one, and Bourne did well just to get a piece of that, and I'm thinking cracked his bat.
Oh, yeah. He got deep in that kitchen there. He got way in there. And he followed off. He just fisted it. You got it. That's what he's telling him. You got the bat. Hitters hate to crack their bats. You know, that's the one thing about hitters. They never want to let a pitcher get inside and get in that kitchen. When they do, it's like that bodes well for the pitcher, because see if it goes change up away.
95 on the black for another strikeout. Third K for Shields. He just mowed him down after giving up 2 hits to start the inning. KC leads it 2-1. They might have figured something out. Looked like the Indians were taking advantage of Shields wrapping his changeup, and he just reared back, started throwing darts. Went to the fastball and got himself out of the inning.
Well, you spot that fastball, you get him looking for it, and then that opens up everything else. You got to establish it first. It's the thing he didn't do in Kansas City because he didn't have command of it there. Today he's got command of it, so no reason not to throw it early.
Billy Butler singled his first time up. Fastball in there for a strike. Wow. That's a ball. 2-1. Out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Let's send happy congratulations and a happy 46th anniversary to Jim and Pat Koenig of Canfield, Ohio. Congratulations. Hope they're celebrating today.
Butler shoots one back foul. 2-2. The count remains. Santana readjusting his mask. Line drive to right field. Stubbs makes the catch for out number 1. Let's have a look now at the trivia question brought to you by AT&T. Name the only American League outfielder to be selected for each of the first 6 All-Star games. The answer comes your way later on. Salvador Perez grounded to third his first time up. Ground ball to short. Mike Aviles gets rid of it in a hurry. 2 down. Indians facing All-Star catcher Salvador Perez today, and their first game out of the All-Star break will be against All-Star catcher Joe Mauer of the Minnesota Twins. That's when the Tribe opens up play Friday in Minneapolis. Their first visit to Target Field this year.
Yeah, that's Twins have been here twice, and so that means we'll make 3 trucks to Minnesota in the second half. We end the year there, I know that.
Down low to Mike Moustakas, who grounded to first his first time up. Pop foul out of play. 1-2. And the right-hander's 1-2 delivery is swung on and missed. Jimenez gets his first strikeout and sets the Royals down in order. 1-2-3 for the first time today. KC leads it 2-1, middle of the third. Later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. For the Indians here in the bottom of the third, it will be Asdrubal Cabrera, Jason Kipnis, and Nick Swisher. Cabrera singled his first time up. Indians, in fact, in the first 2 innings of this game, have had their first 2 hitters aboard both times on singles. But both times, the next 3 hitters, boom, 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 retired in order. And so Shields has only allowed 1 run to this point.
Let's see if he makes that adjustment, Matt. a lot of fastballs. He did last inning after the guys were on base.
Mm-hmm. Well, the key is, as you said, being able to throw it 4 strikes.
You know, he throws it 94, 95. There it was, another one.
Popped him up. Escobar, the shortstop, and in comes Gordon to grab it. 1 away. Our Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index for James Shields. He doesn't normally get a lot of help. 3.4. Second worst run support in the league.
Look at Chris Shields. He's by far and away. Doesn't get a whole lot of help, but you still have to go out there as a pitcher and just do the best. Sometimes I would think it has to wear on you, when you go out there every time. You would like to have a couple games where they give you a few runs early so you can relax. And not relax, but at least.
No, you don't have to make a perfect
you
pitch.
don't have to be great out there every inning to keep them in a game.
Jason Kipnis drove home the Indians' only run in the first with a sacrifice fly. 56th RBI on the year. Taps this one foul. Outside, he missed 2 balls and 2 strikes now as Kipnis will look to try to get the offense going here in the third. Full count. Nick Swisher waiting on deck. And it's ball 4. First walk issued by Shields, and the Indians have a 1-out base runner here in the third.
Well, the second of 4 jersey giveaways will take place Saturday, July 27th. The Texas Rangers will be in town, and the first 10,000 fans through the gates for the 7:05 game will receive a Michael Brantley replica jersey. So log on to Indians.com for your tickets.
In 132 innings of work, that's just the 38th walk issued by James Shields this year. He has 115 strikeouts. Nick Swisher checks. It's a called strike. Nick has hit in 10 of his last 13 games at a .341 average. No balls, 2 strikes. Kipnis with 21 steals, leading the club. Fourth in the American League, tied with Mike Trout and Jose Altuve. One on, one out. 0-2 pitch. Up and away. James Shields has made at least 100 pitches in every start this year, with the exception of one. Against Chicago, he was limited to 97 pitches. So he's going to be out there for a while.
He's a horse. He goes out there every 5th day, and he usually takes you deep into the ball game. He had a string of 6 consecutive innings going for a long time. this year until it was Chicago.
That was the game.
Got him June 23rd. That he went 5 innings. And then the fourth, he only went 5 1/3 against the Indians. So those are the only 2 times he didn't go 6 the whole year. So this guy goes out there, he gives you some length, and he keeps you in it.
Outside, 2-2. He's making a lot of pitches, though, here in the early going. He's closing in on number 60, and we're only in the third.
Yeah, having to work his way through the first 2. As you mentioned, the first 2 guys aboard in both the first and the second inning. And they have an opportunity to get another man aboard here. So it could be 3 innings in a row where they have 2 men on base.
2-2 pitch. And another full count. And I'll tell you what, at the outset, this had the makings of one of those really hot summer July days, but the cloud covers rolled in, and it's really taking the edge off because, we're talking about 90 degrees or north of that.
Well, it seems nice where we're at. I don't know where they're at.
There's a little bit of humidity here today, too. Runner goes, 3-2 pitch, hit on the ground at first. And it's knocked down by Hosmer, who tags the bag, throws back to second, and a close play there, but Kipnis just got back in time.
Boy, he thought it might have been a foul ball. He rounded it. He thought the ball may get through, but he was heads up enough to get back. Hosmer made a nice play.
2 down.
He tagged the bag with his glove and then followed it up because the ball was in his hand, and that's when he realized that Kipnis overran second. I'm thinking Kipnis was going to go to third, thinking it was a base hit. He tags it, but there you see he had it in his hand. And then he looked back and he saw that Kipnis overturned or ran around second base, and he says, "Get back." He picked up his coach. Boy, just in time. That was
very
close.
Yeah. Well, let's see if Michael Brantley can get a big 2-out hit here. Wouldn't be surprised. He's hit .368 this year. With runners in scoring position. That's 4th best in the American League.
Well, that's why Brantley has 47 RBIs. He's done a nice job for a guy that you don't consider an RBI guy. He is a good RBI guy and getting better every year. A guy that floats through the lineup, will hit anywhere that Terry Francona has needed him, and he's done just a beautiful job this year. You talk about his hitting, and driving in the runs. He's also done a great job in left field. 8 assists, throwing guys out at second base of the plate, wherever it may be. He's done just a really good job overall.
3-man meeting at the mound. Mike Moustakas, the third baseman, in, doing a lot of talking. Now, Brantley's even better with 2 outs. And runners in scoring position. He's at .385.
Well, this guy on the mound is pretty good, too, when you get runners in scoring position and 2 outs. He only yields a .178 average, so he gets really tough. So this should be a good battle, and Michael down in the count 0-2.
Upstairs with it.
Remember, he got Brantley last time up on a heater inside, and it was called. He was looking for something away.
Another inning, though, where the Indians are making him throw a lot of pitches. And Brantley, a one-hop smash into right field. Kipnis coming around third, going to try to score. David Lowe will make no throw, and the Indians tie the game. Brantley comes through yet again. His 48th run batted in on the year. Knots the game at 2 apiece. I'll tell you what, with runners in scoring position, this guy has been money in the bank this year.
Well, watch a good Michael went down and hit a good pitch. That might not have been a strike, but he hit it in the hole between first and second. A good low ball hitter. You're not going to throw Kipnis out. He scores easily. We have a new ball game, so the only walk that Shields has allowed has come around to score.
He's now a .400 hitter. There you go. Updated stats. Runners in scoring position and 2 outs. 16 out of 40. Now Carlos Santana. Takes low. It's down out of the zone. Another ball in the dirt, 3-0.
Yeah, that's a fourth 2-0 count for Shields. Now he goes to 3-0 and has to come back. I know he's had a couple of those today, too.
Finds the strike zone just outside corner. Back with a dive. Brantley with 10 steals on the year. Santana with hits in 5 straight games now.
Got along, tried to pull that pitch. You know, the one thing you have to do when he gets ahead of you, get a good look at the ball, because he can throw that changeup and breaking ball at any time, and he will do that when he's behind in the count. Your swing gets a little long like it was there.
Ready now. Brantley takes off. The 3-2 pitch bounced foul. Payoff pitch. One hop smash. It's by Hosmer. Down the line it goes. Brantley around second on his way to third. He's going to be waved around. Lowe's throw, not nearly in time.
He bobbled it.
Carlos Santana with a 2-out RBI double, and the Indians go in front 3-2. It looked like Lowe had a little trouble when that ball kicked off the sidewall. And there was no stopping Michael Brantley.
I want to see if they do give him an RBI here, only because he may have stopped him, but Lowe bobbled the ball, and then he started him back up again. Santana hits it. You see Hosmer going back. It gets past him at first base. Now watch Lowe off the wall. If he catches it and gets it in, I don't think Brantley scores. But with that bobble right there, he throws it home, and Brantley goes in easily. So we'll see how they score it.
Yeah, I never saw Brad Mills stop waving him, and that's why I didn't think that they'd give him an error, only because he was waving him the whole way. He might have stopped him, though, as you said, if he came up with it cleanly. But as it stands, the Indians come up with another big hit. Back-to-back 2-out hits here in the third, and they lead it 3-2.
Well, a couple of big 2-out base hits, and normally Shields is awfully tough in that department.
Mike Aviles fouls one out of play. Avila shoots a fastball deep right field. Low on the move. Will make the catch onto the warning track to end the inning. But the Indians come back on James Shields with 2 here in the third, and they lead it 3-2. Final game before the All-Star break. The Indians with a 3-2 lead going to the 4th inning. Tribe trying to run their win streak to 4 in a row, try to send Kansas City to their 5th straight loss.
This is an inning you want to shut them down. The first time the Indians were on the board, Ubaldo let them respond. And for the Royals this year, through innings 1 through 4, they are minus 40. So you put that on the board and you maybe have that lead. They're plus 34 the rest of the way.
Lorenzo Cain, David Lowe, Johnny Giavotella, all three reached their first time up. Man, Lorenzo Cain looks, it's outside 2-0. There's a strike.
Same pitch.
Wow, what was
Look,
wrong with that?
When you see Santana style, it was the same pitch as the 2-0 pitch that was called a strike. Same spot.
Well, now everybody's guessing.
Well, you're right. Look at Ubaldo looks in there. I mean, oh boy.
Here's our AT&T Uverse rewind. This is the sacrifice fly in the second inning that got the Royals on the board and kept the inning alive. He was out but called safe. So David Rackley's having not a real banner day behind the plate. The front leg never touched the plate, slid around it. Throw down to second base, too high. Into center field it goes, and Cain will go to third. Boy, that was an awful throw. So Cain gets his 10th steal of the year, and the air allows him to go to third.
Well, so one hitter into this inning, and you know, Ubaldo thought he had a few strikes, a few more than that were called. Now you know there's a man on third base, nobody out, and Kansas City a great opportunity to tie this game up.
David Lowe takes a called strike. Tries to bunt it, but Ubaldo has it, throws to first, doesn't get him though. Wow. Lowe was trying to little safety squeeze there, but
well, he puts the ball as a runner. You can't come down; it's right out in front of the plate.
Yeah.
Ubaldo makes the play, but not in time. Lowe beats it out. So they will now have runners on first and third. Yeah, that sort of freezes you as a base runner. You see that ball right out in front of home plate. He couldn't do anything. But Lowe gets himself a base knock, infield bunt.
Johnny Giavotella. And already activity in the Indians bullpen. Jimenez just at 60 pitches. I don't know.
No, 6 hits. You're just in the 4th inning. He is not all that sharp today.
Runner goes.
And they are running at will.
Throw down. Safe. Another steal.
You know, this is not a good combination when you have Ubaldo on the mound and Santana behind the plate to control the running game, especially if you got some guys that can run. Kansas City does. They are third in the league. Now they have 69 stolen bases, 2 in this inning.
2-0 the count. Ubaldo delivers, and a fastball is in there for a called strike. The 2-1 swung on and missed. Here's the set by Ubaldo and the 2-2. Ground ball to short. Tying run will score. Giovitella is out by a whisker at first, one away. Picks up his 4th RBI. David Lowe stays at second base with 1 out. Alcides Escobar coming to the plate. KCA AT CLE, the Taiwan native, getting loose in the Tribe bullpen. Be eager to make his first appearance. Escobar, who had a sac fly his first time up, looks at ball 1. And a soft line drive, base hit in the left center field. That's going to bring home the go-ahead run. David Lowe scores 4-3 Kansas City.
Yeah, both times the Indians have scored, they come right back and score on the Indians. So Ubaldo, that was a mistake pitch. Up, inner part of the plate. It gets hit. And it's the same 2 guys, Kane and Lowe, that have scored the runs. They've scored all 4 runs.
A goofy inning.
Escobar, his 2nd RBI.
Here's Alex Gordon. He's already 2 for 2. 2 singles and an RBI. And up high, ball 1.
Well, the first 2 guys that were on base this inning have taken off and stolen. I can see Escobar doing it too. He's 12-0 this year. He hasn't been caught yet. No reason not for him to take a chance either.
High pop, foul. That'll play again. And a strike called there. 1-2 the count. 4-3 Royals lead it. We're in the top half of the 4th inning if they've come back with 2 here in this frame. Detroit, meanwhile, leads Texas 3-0. They're in the 5th at Comerica Park. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Justin Verlander spinning a no-hitter through 5, by the way. 2-2 pitch. Strikes him out. 2 down. Let's go back to the Hyundai Studios right now for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Matt and Rick, you're just talking about this game. Texas and Detroit. Tigers lead at 3-0. All 3 solo home runs are the Detroit scores today. Peralta and Martinez went back-to-back here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And it is a no-hitter. They're going to the bottom of the 5th. Justin Verlander dealing today for the Tigers.
Bouncing ball to first. Swisher steps on the bag. That'll end the inning. But the Royals come back with a pair here in the 4th, and they lead it now 4-3. Cleveland. James Shields, like Ubaldo Jimenez, has made a lot of pitches today. Ubaldo's made 74 pitches through 4 innings. James Shields will start the 4th at 73 pitches made. And as I mentioned, he's got the bottom of the order coming up here. And a fastball in there for a strike to Lonnie Chisenhall, who went down on strikes his first time up.
He was down in that at-bat with runners on first and second, 0-2, and worked it back to a full count and fouled off about 4 or 5 pitches before he got him. Again, down 0-2.
He golfs one high in the air to center. Back is Lorenzo Cain. 1 away here in the 4th. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, who are the 3 best outfielders in Tribe history. Read up on the rapid rise of Francisco Lindor and check out Fox Sports Game Connect. It's all on FoxSportsOhio.com. Swung on and missed. Bloop down the right field line. Hosmer into foul territory. Can't get to it.
I was going to say, that could have been a thing of beauty if it stayed fair.
Drew would love to have one of those 0 for his last 8. He did not go, says the first base umpire, Mark Carlson. One ball, 2 strikes. Low and away. 2-2. All right, so Drew Stubbs has worked it to a full count. Chops it back out of play. So 3 balls, 2 strikes for Stubbs with 1 out here in the home half of the 4th, and Michael Bourne waiting on deck. Mentioned the Indians will open the second half, or I should say they'll open up play after the All-Star break in Minnesota. Twins are beating up New York right now. The Yankees have dropped 6 games off the pace in the AL East heading into play today. Out of play.
That's usually a tough place for Minnesota to win, is in New York.
Yeah, you're right.
They always have had a tough time going there for many years. But
Twins,
then again, so do we.
Twins began today 15 games under 500. They had lost 8 of their last 10. Foul back again.
Good
so
job.
Stubbs with a good at bat.
Yeah, they are making this guy work hard.
One more time, the 3-2 pitch. And a ground ball right at Moustakas. Boy, he hit that hard. A one hopper, though, right at the third baseman. And we've got 2 down here in the 4th.
Well, it'll be Dollar Dog Night, which will take place Wednesday, July 31st. The White Sox will be in town, plus the first 10,000 fans through the gates will receive an Indians mesh trucker cap. Log on to Indians.com for your tickets.
In on the grass at third, Mike Moustakas was born at the plate. Michael singled and scored in the first, struck out his last time up. 8 hits, 36 at bats on this homestand for the Indians leadoff man. That bounced out in front of home plate. Actually, it bounced in front of the batter's box that Bourne was standing in.
It sure did. That's like cricket right there. You're trying to throw one down. He got it down all right. Watch this out in front of the plate. Michael says, where's that going?
Out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Once again, that breeze blowing straight in from center field. And Michael with a one-hop smash into right field by a diving Eric Hosmer. And the Tribe has a 2-out base runner here in the 4th. And Asdrubal Cabrera will be coming up, and that'll extend the inning. And that's something the Indians have done a good job against Shields here today. They have the 3 runs, and they've made him throw a ton of pitches. This will be already number 90 on the day.
Well, back in the 3rd when they scored their 2 runs, it all came with 2 outs.
Yeah.
Now, this is an opportunity for Michael Bourne on first to maybe take off early in this situation. Cabrera, an aggressive hitter. He likes to swing early in the count. And normally, if you're going to steal a base with 2 outs, you'd rather do it early in the count. But we'll see.
Up and away, ball one. Would have been a bad pitch to run on.
Right. See, a lot of times you just never know because Cabrera, he likes to attack and get after pitches early in the count. But that was almost like a pitch out up and away, thinking that Bourne could be running there.
Right at the first baseman. And the inning is over. 4 complete. It's the Royals 4 and the Indians 3. Receiver only from AT&T Uverse. Rethink possible. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. 4-3, Kansas City leads it as we go now to the 5th inning. Billy Butler, Salvador Perez, Mike Moustakas due up for Kansas City.
Well, Ubaldo can use an easy 1-2-3 inning. He had one back in the 3rd, and that was it. He's had to work hard through every inning today. And he's going to have to do it again.
Bourne cuts it off. Butler has a leadoff single here in the 5th.
His 2nd hit today. Kansas City already with 8 hits. And that's just up, out, over the plate. And he drills it to straightaway center. Off-speed pitch. Here comes Francona. I think he's seen enough.
Now, Ubaldo hasn't had much at all today. He did
No.
retire the side in order, 1-2-3 in the 3rd. Other than that, a lot of traffic in this ball game. Kansas City with 4 runs on 8 hits. And today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen, CC Lee makes his Major League debut when we come back. Chen Chang Lee, 26-year-old native of Taiwan, makes his major league debut. Just the 9th Taiwanese-born player to appear in the major leagues, the first for the Cleveland Indians. And what's really impressive is that KCA Lee is only 13 months removed from reconstructive right elbow surgery. And yet here he is back and making his major league debut for the Indians. He's a bit of a cross between Vinny Pastano and Joe Smith. Sidearm maybe not as pronounced as Joe Smith,
right,
but somewhere in between the two. High ball one to Salvador Perez, who is 0 for 2 on the day. Indians originally signed him back in 2008. That's when he pitched for the Taiwan Olympic team that competed in Beijing, China. Out of play in that Olympics. He pitched against the Cuban national team, which is widely regarded as a very good international club. And in a starting role, he went 6 2/3 in that Olympics contest and only gave up 1 run on 3 hits. Caught a lot of people's attention. Out of play. In his career in the minor leagues, coming into this year, an ERA of an even 3 in 138 games pitched. Full count to Salvador Perez.
Well, with nobody out here, we'll see if Ned Yost starts him. I think he will, with a 1-run lead, nobody out. Start the runner, but this would be a good time if you can get a swing and a miss. You'd get him a strike him out, throw him out. He doesn't start him.
Up and in, almost hit him. And that goes to the backstop. Down to second goes Butler, and the Royals have their first 2 on here in the 5th inning. Mike Moustakas will be the batter now, 0 for 2.
Well, that's one you're not looking for on a full count. He gets underneath that one, and that one takes off up and in. He's got to bail and hit the dirt. So Kansas City will start with the first 2 men aboard. They did that last inning and scored a pair of runs.
Inside, he misses, ball 1. You never know for sure how a player is going to react in his first major league appearance. Moustakas sends one high in the air to right field. Drew Stubbs over. Michael Bourne is there. Bourne will take it. And the runners hold one away. Some guys are very relaxed and very comfortable and no big deal, and other guys are shaking like a leaf.
Yeah, well, it looks like it like that they may be relaxed and no big deal, but it has to be a big deal for any time you come into a game, your first major league appearance. It's that adrenaline's flowing, it's rushing. You're probably moving 100 miles an hour, and you have to just slow it down. I think maybe that first out might help them right there.
Yeah, hopefully it will. Kevin Cash, the Indians bullpen coach, told me that Preston Guillemette, he said, boy, he's one of the coolest cucumbers he's ever dealt with in a first experience like that. He said a lot of guys, boy, you go to hand them the baseball and their hand is shaking,
yeah,
because it's the first time and emotions are running high. But he said Guillemette handled it very well.
Well, he ended up coming into that game. They couldn't bring him in earlier with Masterson, the game that he had bases loaded, and
he ended up getting 2 outs, pitched well.
Pitched very well.
High pop on the infield.
There you go. Now he gets his second out. So now he can.
Mike Aviles has it 2 away. So KCA Lee, after walking Perez, comes back to get Moustakas and Kane, and now David Lowe coming up. If he can get David Lowe, he'll be doing something, because the Indians have had a tough time with this Northeast Ohio native. Though they kept him down 1 for 8 coming into today's game in the series, but a single and a run scored in the second, then a bunt single and a run scored in the fourth. Speaking of debuts, I mentioned, how it is for pitchers. Well, when David Lowe made his debut, got his first big league hit in a game against Minnesota, and he said he got down to first base, and Justin Morneau was talking to him, and they were giving him signs. And I don't think he saw any of the signs that were flashed to him at third base.
Yeah, you can't talk. You got to look.
There's a high fly ball,
Nice
center
job.
field. Michael Bourne comes in, camps under it, and KCA Lee does the job, giving the Indians some much-needed relief here in the fifth. 4-3 Kansas City. Guy who doesn't have one. He caught all three with the glove.
Oh, I guarantee he gave him up.
Yeah, the kids all have them.
No
How about
kidding.
that?
Three? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That might be a record.
That's the lucky seat.
Tommy Bowe, is that a record?
That is a record.
Put it in the books.
He wants to know what section and what seat number.
Jason Kipnis walked and scored his last time up, leads off the fifth inning. James Shields, just over 90 pitches on the day, delivers for ball one.
Well, I don't think you can work them much better than what they've done today. When you talk about you like to work a starting pitcher, and the Indians have done a nice job of that this year. They're one of the better teams in the league of working starting pitchers to get them that pitch count up and get them out of the game earlier.
Yeah, look what they've done against guys with Cy Young awards too. I mean, they've been able to grit their teeth and bear down against some of the tougher pitchers in the league.
You know, sometimes people think that you have to get a hit to be successful. That's not necessarily true, because as a group, you go through that lineup and you try and work a guy, and the quicker you can get that starter out of the game, the better it works for you.
3-1 to count.
You know, more so now with pitch counts the way they are.
Out of play, full count.
How about the no-hitter yesterday?
Counts,
I was thinking about that.
Speaking of pitch counts, Tim Lincecum fired 148 pitches in his no-hitter effort last night against the Padres.
That is something else.
The 3-2.
Oh.
Ball four. It was close, but
yeah.
Kipnis has his second walk of the day. Tim Lincecum against the Padres last night Got a little help from his defense on the road at Petco. Watch Hunter Pence lay out for the great catch. That ended the 8th inning. And Lincecum gave it the high held fist, and then a routine fly ball to end it in the 9th.
You know, no hitter. 148 pitches. Lincecum doesn't care. He gets the no hitter. Wasn't it Edwin Jackson that had the no hitter that was about 140 some pitches with 7 walks?
Yeah, had to be because he had 7. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking when Lenny Barker threw his perfect game.
103.
Is that what it was?
103 pitches.
How about that? Talk about efficient.
Well, that was that day for him. I don't think he could be any better. He didn't have 1 3-ball count, or maybe 1. He was unbelievable with 11 punch-outs.
And then at the other end of the spectrum, Sam McDowell said he could be at 100 pitches in the 3rd, 4th inning sometimes.
Probably take him 100 to warm up.
Pitch number 99. Ground ball to the second baseman, Giavotella. He'll take the sure out at first, and Kipnis gets into scoring position. Our in-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Alex Gordon with an RBI single. That made it 2-1 Kansas City in the 2nd inning. Then Carlos Santana's RBI double put the Tribe in front 3-2. But back came the Royals again, and Alcides Escobar, his RBI single, put the Royals in front 4-3. And that's where we stand now in the 5th.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing, every time the Indians scored, they let the Royals come right back. And both times they put 2 on the board. So now they're going to have to come from behind. But a lot of ball game left. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Brantley was the guy that got it going back in the 3rd with the first 2-out base hit.
Yeah,
a nice
Brantley
slow fastball like
now
that.
batting 400 with runners in scoring position and 2 out on the year with that 2-out RBI hit in the 3rd. Now another chance to drive one home in the 5th.
You know, this is about the same pitch he got that base hit on. And he fouled that one off. And I think he might be a little upset with himself because that was almost the same pitch he had.
Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Are you kidding me?
They didn't get another one. They did.
It rolled down and they got another one.
Get out
4
of
for
here.
4.
Now he's got one. Look at
he's just
giving
chucked
them
out.
away.
He's just giving it away. Too much. Embarrassment of riches.
That goes. Tommy says that is an official record.
The 1-1. Called a strike.
That is, I mean, that's their lucky day, man.
Magnet.
4.
Ball magnet.
Whatever it is about that section, the foul ball is landing there. You better go out and buy a lottery ticket today.
1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He strikes out Brantley, and that's the 4th K for James Shields. 2 down in the inning.
Comes back with a little breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. Little backdoor slider. Not the changeup, mind you, although that slider is about 83 miles an hour. Sometimes it can be the speed of that changeup, but it's got a little different break to it, a little different plane.
Carlos Santana is 2 for 2 today. A single and an RBI double. And so Perez wanted to go out and talk to Shields before they go to work. Could be his final batter of the game if he gets out of the inning. I'm not sure that Ned Yost would bring him back for the 6th. He's over 100 pitches now. Time was called before Shields was getting ready to deliver. This outside. Ball 1. Just missed outside. 2-0. Well, he's either working around Santana or he's just not able to hit his mark. Right-handed hitting Mike Aviles waiting on deck, and even though Aviles has good career numbers, he might want to go right on right more than he wants to go at Santana. But he fires that one in there off speed for a strike. Goes right back at him again, full count.
Shields today now with 7 full counts. And it was Santana last time when he got the double, he was in a full count.
Ball 4, it's up high. 2 walks in the inning. 2 on, 2 out, and Mike Aviles coming up. Dave Island going to the bullpen phone. Now get activity brewing. Mike Aviles singled in the second inning and then flied to deep left in the third. Or is it deep right? Did I mark that down wrong?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Can't read my own writing.
That's what happens when you get old. I understand. Your card's far enough away from me, I can see it.
Bright sunshine bursting through the cloud cover here at the ballpark as Aviles shoots it back into the seats.
Good swing there, good pitch to hit. Just fouled it off.
Left-hander Everett Tieford. The 0-2 out of play. Chop to third. Moustakas will go to the bag to end the inning. 5 complete. It's Kansas City 4, Cleveland 3. Sixth inning, it will be Johnny Giavotella, Alcides Escobar, and Alex Gordon due up here for Kansas City. James Shields.
See, he was talking a little bit to George Brett over there, and he could be talking about what hitters are looking for in certain counts. Always good to talk to hitters if you're a pitcher and see what they may be thinking.
C.C. Lee A scoreless inning of relief work in the 5th after he came on when Ubaldo Jimenez gave up a leadoff hit to start that inning. He's got Johnny Giavotella, Alcides Escobar, and Alex Gordon to deal with. That ball went in. It hit him or foul off the bat?
Hit him.
Boy, I thought it hit the bat.
No, he went to bunt, and he tried to get out of the way and just couldn't do it.
It was bearing in on him.
He didn't pick a very good pitch to bunt. So that's the second guy he's drilled.
Well, this wouldn't be a guy that would be fun to try to bunt, period.
Look at, he gets down, and again, he got under it, got his back arm, got his right arm, forearm, I believe. And once he's square, he picked the wrong pitch to try and bunt right on the forearm.
Yep.
He got Perez with that same pitch. He got underneath it, and the ball just took off.
Alcides Escobar, an RBI single, his last time up. First time up, he drove in a run with a sac fly. So just for the record, it appeared that CC Lee almost hit Salvador Perez in the 5th inning, but that was actually ball 4. So the first hit batter is Giavotella, although he did come close to getting Perez. And now he's trying to bunt.
Well, they figure maybe if they see him squaring around, he throws it differently or tries to throw it inside. Watch this one again. I'm going to jump out of the way. See, they're just moving up in the batter's box. Well, out of his 16 pitches so far, Lee has thrown 10 balls out of the 16.
Bunted foul, first base side. Count 2-1. Quick throw over. George Brett, who took over as the Royals hitting coach, said that he would not have taken over this job if he thought this team was headed nowhere. He really believes that they've got good players and some good hitters in place. Santana will make the catch on the bunt attempt by Escobar. One away. Brett says, he's going to finish out the year and then he'll meet with the Kansas City general manager Dayton Moore at the end of the season and figure out where to go from here. But he said it's been a learning experience for him working with the young players.
I'll bet it is.
You realize in 10 days it's going to be the anniversary, the 30th anniversary of the Pine Tar game.
Oh, yeah?
Talk a bit more about that when we come back. Right now, time for a pitching change. Today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Looks like Brian Shaw, or is that Rich Hill? Rich Hill's coming on when we come back. And the Indians go to Rich Hill, coming out of the bullpen for the 38th time this year.
Going to get the left-handers in this Kansas City lineup.
Mentioning before we went to the break, George Brett, 30 years ago, coming up in
Pine Tar
10
incident.
days,
Yeah.
the anniversary of that Pine Tar incident at Yankee Stadium. Brett hit a home run
Off the Goose Man.
and it was Greg Nettles who told Billy Martin, check his bat, I think he's got too much pine tar on it. And what ensued was an absolute debacle. Jim McClellan threw him out of the game, said no good. George Brett went absolutely bananas. They protested, Kansas City filed a protest. It went to the league office. The league office overturned the call.
Right.
They had to go back to finish the game, and that turned into almost a farce because Dick Hauser couldn't manage and George Brett couldn't play because they had been ejected because of the call. So in the replay of the game, or not the replay, but when they picked it up, it was late in the game. Billy Martin put Ron Guidry in center field, and he had Don Mattingly at second base. And that's how they finished out the game.
Unbelievable.
But the really funny part of the story, and you'll appreciate this, George Brett says, you know, even now when I go out to play golf, he said, people always want to check my golf clubs for pine tar.
Yeah.
He said, I've become known as the pine tar guy. He said, which I'm okay with that because it's better than being known as the hemorrhoid guy. And he said that took me off everybody's
from the
bullseye
World Series
when he had to mix the game in the World Series because of that.
Well, I know he's not a pine tar guy because he uses TaylorMade. He's a TaylorMade guy, and
you don't need pine tar.
No pine tar with TaylorMade.
But he's really enjoyed himself working with this Royals club, and
well, he's a baseball guy, and how can't you take a few tips from a guy, one of the greater hitters in baseball of all time. And when he took over, it's funny. He said that the base running's all part of offense too.
Yeah,
guys start hustling more down the line. When you get down there, it's a little bit of everything. It's not just hitting. And just because you can share some of that with you, it's a total package.
Good pitch. Locked Gordon up with a good breaking ball for out number 2.
Let's check this breaking ball out on our Nissan pitch tracker. It is a dandy because it locks him up. Gordon can't pull the trigger. Good breaking ball from Rich Hill. That's out number 2.
And the batter now is Eric Hosmer, 0 for 3 today. All 3 times he's grounded out. And a slow, tantalizing curve drops in for strike 1. Swung on and missed. Kreskin checking in with us today.
That's good to know.
Telling us that he did the research. Edwin Jackson, 149 pitches.
Wow, Kreskin did well, he knew that.
He didn't have to do the
no,
research.
he didn't do the he just said that. 149. Thank you, Kreskin. I hear he's heading up to Maine over All-Star break to try and get a little lobster in.
Here's the 0-2. No, throw to first instead. As long as he doesn't try to do it like they did in Seinfeld and go out and just start grabbing lobsters out of other people's traps.
Just keep him out of the water. He may get caught.
This is a big one. Runner goes, 0-2 pitch, fouled back by Hosmer.
He had a great jump. He took off, had him timed perfectly. Guessed right on the 0-2 count. And that's why you can send the runner there, because if he's thrown out, then you have Hosmer coming back to lead off the next inning. If he's not, then he's in scoring position, and Hosmer can try and get a base hit. And you don't want Butler leading off the next inning. He'll throw over there again a couple times. No, he didn't.
Weak chopper right at the first baseman, Swisher, who steps on the bag to end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Still, the Royals lead it 4-3. As we go to the bottom of the 6th, for the Indians, Chisenhall, Stubbs, and Bourne coming up. And for Kansas City, they go to the bullpen for the first time today. Tim Collins coming on after James Shields goes just 5 innings. We talked about it before. He's normally a guy who's out there for 6 every time out, but this will equal his shortest stint of the year.
It's only been 3 times this year Shields hasn't gone at least this 6. 2 times have come against the Indians.
But what he did a good job of today is limiting the Indians to just the 3 runs, because they had an opportunity to cash in for more.
Yeah, he minimized the damage. 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position against the Tribe.
Fouled right back. Buzzed him up out of the way with a good fastball.
Collins came in Friday night's game, and that's to start the 7th inning, and proceeded to give up 2 hits in the first 2 batters he faced.
Lonnie had a good cut, but he fouled it straight back, and it's 2-2. Well, Chisenhall has had his issues against left-handers so far this year, just 3 out of 33. Another good cut.
Yeah, you know, that's the one thing I think Lonnie's been doing a little better since he's been recalled is when you get a pitch, he's finding a way to hit it and put it in play. Because sometimes if you get, you may get one pitch in an at-bat to hit. You don't want to foul him off because that may be the only one you get in an at-bat. He's had a couple good ones here, but he's fouled them off.
Little bit low, full count, so good at bat. Drew Stubbs waits on deck. slicing, foul. Gordon over near the line. No, it's out of play. Lonnie stays alive.
Well, it was Gordon, you remember, back in Kansas City on Kipnis's ball where he ended up having issues in the fence. That's the last time we saw him in that series. The inside the park home run for Kipnis.
Oh, boy, I almost forgot about that.
He went back and snapped his neck and missed the rest of that series.
Again, the 3-2. Ball 4. Indians had their leadoff man aboard. If you were born and raised in Ohio and want to be the next Fox Sports Ohio girl, go to girls.foxsportsohio.com to submit an application. The casting call for the next Fox Sports Ohio girl ends on July 24th. Drew Stubbs to the plate. Is this a bunting situation or too early? Stubbs, line drive left field. That answers that question. Chisenhall stops at second. Drew scorching that line drive, and the Indians have their first 2 on here in the 6th inning against Collins.
Again.
As they continue to have his number.
That's the 3rd time that his last 3 times he's been in against the Indians, the first 2 guys have reached against him. It was once in Kansas City and now twice here. So for whatever reason, and ever since this young man came up, he was the only left-hander in their bullpen at one time. He seemed to pitch against the Indians every game for whatever reason, because he was the only left-hander matching up. And this guy has good stuff, but they have the table set here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. 1st and 2nd. That is the 3rd time they've had the first 2 guys aboard out of the first 6 innings.
Michael Bourne 2 for 3. 2 singles, a run scored. Moustakas pinching in at 3rd. Hosmer coming in at 1st. Bourne squares, pulls it back. And it's ball 1. Bunted. Well done. Collins looks to 3rd, throws to 1st. 1 away. Tying run is at 3rd. Go ahead run at 2nd.
Nice job by Bourne. You know, job, just get him over. He deadens it enough. And the only play Collins had is to go to first base. So it's sacrifice 1-4. Chisenhall moves up. Stubbs moves up. Now it gives Cabrera an opportunity to at least tie the game, if not with a base hit, take the lead.
As Dribble is 1 for 3 on the afternoon. He has 2 sac flies on the year. Overall, a .227 hitter with runners in scoring position. There's a drive, though, deep center field. Long run for Kane. He can't get it. That'll score 2. The Indians will take the lead. Cabrera into second base with a 2-out double to center field. And the Indians are in front 5-4. RBIs number 33 and 34. It's the 20th double of the season for Asdrubal.
Well, that was a great swing. Let's make this on McDonald's. I'm loving it because anytime you get a base hit the other way, 2 guys aboard, and he hit it deep. It short hops the wall. There you'll see. Bingo. The Indians come back and take a lead. Nice hit by Cabrera. His 2nd of the day, his 20th double, his 34th ribby, and they will send Collins to the showers.
So the Indians get to the KC left-hander again here today. And a timeout at Progressive Field with the Indians now on top 5-4. As they push two across here in the sixth. Another runner in scoring position with one out. Jason Kipnis coming up, and Everett Teaford now enters the game. One lefty relieves another. Rare that you see that. Teaford 3-2 at 2.88 ERA. At AAA Omaha, he's had a few starts, mostly out of the bullpen this year. Now Jason Kipnis, who has walked his last two times up. He drove in a run in the first with a sac fly, scored a run in the third. Jason still has a higher batting average against left-handed pitching this year than right-handed. Though he has 100 more at-bats from the right side than he does, or I should say, 100 more bats against righties than he does lefties. Which just normally stands to reason. You face a lot more right-handers than you do lefties.
Just remember that slow start he had in April, but boy, since after that, he has really turned it on and he has had a great approach against left-handers all year, staying on the baseball, trying to go the other way. That's why the left fielder, Gordon's way, shading him almost like a dead right-handed pull hitter. Because he's been staying on the baseball, but he also drives the ball. It's not just like he slaps it that way. He can drive it that way off left-handers.
Well, it was the Kipnis ball that caused him to sort of lose his balance, and then when he fell backwards on the warning track, the back of his head hit that suspension post in front of the Royals bullpen in Kansas City, and that's when he had to leave that ball game.
Went for inside the Parker, 3-runner for Jason Kipnis.
Two balls and a strike.
So he doesn't have an official at bat today. Sacrifice fly in the first, which takes over the team lead.
Yeah, he's 0 for 0.
He's walked once, scored, or walked twice.
Yeah. Tried to hold up, but he went around 2-2. As Drupal Cabrera delivering a 2-run double here in the sixth to put the Indians in front 5-4. It's been a seesaw battle all day. Challenged him with a fastball, and Kipnis got a piece to send it right back. Boy, Tiefert is taking forever to deliver this one pitch to Kipnis. Now he fires. And it's low. Full count. Nick Swisher waiting on deck. Count now full for Kipnis. Jason has hit in 31 of his last 34 games, batting .387 during that time. He's got another big knock. Straight into center field. Kane comes up. He's throwing. Cabrera's coming home. Throw nowhere close. Cabrera scores. It's a 3-run sixth for the Indians. And they now lead it 6-4 as Jason Kipnis delivers his second RBI of the game. Give him 57, a team best on the year.
You know, what a great at-bat there. Kipnis worked and stayed into it to a 3-2 pitch, got one to his liking, and drilled it right back up the middle. Now, Kane had this ball before Cabrera hit third base, and they're going to be aggressive. Mills is being aggressive. The throw is offline. They would have had a chance if it's online. But Cabrera comes in to score. Kipnis gets his 57th RBI, and it's a 6-4 Indians lead.
Well, remember, it was in the series opener, and it was Gerard Dyson who had made a tremendous throw to home plate, and it was Cabrera who had an incredible slide to avoid being tagged, right?
Kipnis.
It was Kipnis, that's right, it was Kipnis.
Yeah, Kipnis scored on that play.
Very close play at the plate.
Well, big hit by Cabrera and scored a run, so 3 hits in the inning for the Tribe. The walk started it all.
And Kipnis hit first with still only 1 out. Swisher, high fly ball, deep left, Gordon back on the track, makes the catch. 2 down. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Michael Brantley, big 2-out RBI hit in the 3rd inning. Carlos Santana would follow with an RBI double, also with 2 outs. And the Indians have continued to get clutch hitting throughout this game, plating 3 more here in the 6th. Now with 2 down, Michael Brantley coming to the plate, 1 for 3 on the afternoon.
They have done a good job against this Kansas City bullpen in the series. 5 for 10 with runners in scoring position. You know, in Kansas City, one of the better bullpens in the league. When you look at their numbers overall this year, Toronto, who just left town, they had one of the better bullpens in the league, and they were able to, you know, do some damage against that team as well.
Yes, sir.
So you got to give credit to this Indians offense. They're taking on 2 of the best bullpens in the league in back-to-back series, and they've done a tremendous job to score.
The 1-0, way outside. Tiefert will toss it to first, and back easily is Kipnis. And a strike called. 2-1. A little bit low, 3-1. Brantley with that good, patient approach. Another throw to first. Three-one delivery. And a high fly ball right field. Lowe is there and makes the catch. The Indians plate 3 here in the 6th. 2 on a double by Cabrera, 1 on a single by Kipnis. 6-4 Cleveland. With 18 locations in Northeast Ohio and by Levin. Beautiful day here in Northeastern Ohio. 6-4 Indians lead it. Final game before the All-Star break. Our next telecast will come your way Friday night from Target Field in Minnesota. But don't forget the All-Star game. Check your local listings Tuesday night on Fox. Brian Shaw into the ballgame now for the Indians. 39th appearance of the year. He's got Billy Butler, Salvador Perez, Mike Moustakas. This is important because every time the Indians have scored in this game, Kansas City has come right back to answer.
They have earlier in the game. 2 in the second, 2 in the fourth, after the Indians scored in the first and third.
Billy Butler, 2 singles on the day, 4 hits in the series. Missed outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Right field, Stubbs on the run, can't get it. And Butler will head to second base with a leadoff double. That's a tough play, not only because the ball hit hard and you're on the dead run, but I don't know how much the sun might come into play there as well, adding to the
and it's
difficulty.
Slicing. Even though that ball's hit hard and it's driven to right field, it's going to have a little movement on it as he's going to his right, trying to cut it off. You can see now he tries to readjust and just misses that ball. It couldn't be but 6 inches. But that ball was hit hard, so Butler goes the other way. His third hit of the day. They have 9. The Royals do. So a leadoff double to come back.
Salvador Perez 0 for 2 with a walk. Chop to third. Chisenhall will look Butler back. Throws across. Nice job by Swisher to stay with it. One away. Again, the Midsummer Classic will be seen Tuesday night only on Fox. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game live from Citi Field in New York. If you joined us late or missed the early portion of the game, Ubaldo Jimenez making the start today for the Tribe. For the 5th time in his 19 starts this year, he failed to go at least 5 innings. Out of play. He was charged with 4 runs on 8 hits. Walked 2, struck out 2 in 4 innings plus 1 batter. But the bullpen has done a terrific job. KCA Lee in his major league debut, an inning and a third scoreless relief. Rich Hill 2/3 of a scoreless inning. And now Brian Shaw with a runner at second and 1 out facing Mike Moustakas, who is 0 for 3 on the day. Fly to center his last time up. Ripped foul. Time called. Justin Verlander took his no-hitter into the 7th today before Texas got their first hit. They added a hit in the 8th, but Detroit still leads it 5-0. Round ball, hard hit to first. Nice pick by Swisher. Shaw
Beautiful.
quickly over to the bag to cover for out number 2.
A nice play by Swisher. Ranging to his right, he had to get over there. He tried to get a body in front of it, which he did. Picked it cleanly, and a nice flip to Shaw, who's over there covering for the second out. Hit right on the nose. That was not an easy play.
So now Lorenzo Cain, he has singled, walked, and scored 2 of Kansas City's 4 runs. Popped up on the infield his last time up against KCA Lee. And Shaw with a fastball, strike 1. Off the end of the bat foul over toward the on-deck circle in front of the KC dugout, and it's 0-2. Runner at third for KC, 2 down here in the 7th. Indians leading 6-4. And Shaw trying to make sure it stays that way. 2-strike pitch. Outside. Same pitch, same result. 2-2. Swung out and missed. He got him to chase one in the dirt. Santana applies the tag, and the inning is over. And the Royals strand a runner at third. We've reached the 7th inning stretch with the Tribe on top, 6-4. 7th inning stretch. As we get ready to go to the bottom of the 7th inning, we'll look at the traffic from our Panini Cam. Brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill.
Is that little bridge you're going to end up taking eventually when it gets done?
Yeah, little.
Well, yeah, it's pretty big.
That's a big old bridge. Yeah, that'll be the new connector downtown on the west side and points south. 6-4 Indians as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Another new pitcher for Kansas City. Lewis Coleman, right-hander on to face Carlos Santana, Mike Aviles, and Lonnie Chisenhall. Carlos Santana's had a good day, a single, a double, an RBI, and he walked his last time up. In there for a strike. Outside 1-1. Line drive, base hit, right field, it's in. As Lowe goes over to cut it off, Santana with his 3rd hit of the day. And the Indians get their leadoff man aboard for the 3rd inning in a row. and the 5th time out of 7 innings. The only American League outfielder to be selected for each of the first 6 All-Star games. Our AT&T trivia question answer is Earl Averill. His number 3 retired by the Indians. Mike Aviles with a good bunt. Barehand grab. Moustakas throw on the money. Santana into scoring position.
Well, I think Avila's doing this on his own. When you have a 2-run lead in the 7th, he lays one down. Santana going to get himself in scoring position. It'll go as a sacrifice.
I think he was trying to bunt for a hit. If he'd have deadened it just a little more, it's probably an easy hit.
It would be. But he does move Santana into scoring position, so you get the bonus. Santana's been on 4 times today to 3 hits and also a walk.
Lonnie Chisenhall, terrific at bat to start the 6th inning. He was facing the left-hander Tim Collins. Well documented his struggles against left-handed pitching this year, but boy, he battled and eventually drew ball 4 to get aboard. And then the Indians chased Collins a couple of batters later. First career grand slam last night for Chisenhall. This is popped in the air, left field. And Gordon has it, 2 down.
Well, your opportunity to secure lowest prices on next year's tickets will be available at the season ticket holder event, which will take place July 28th. Log on to triberewards.com for your details.
Drew Stubbs 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 6th. Strike over the outside corner. Out of play. Nothing into the count. Coleman checks the runner, 2-strike pitch. Stubbs takes low and away. Popped in the air, foul territory. Over is Hosmer, but he can't get to it. Indians trying for their 30th home win of the year. The only teams with 30 wins at home in the American League, Boston and Tampa. Tampa 33-19 at the Trop. Boston 31-16. Oakland began the day 29-19, and they are 29-15. They're in action later today against Boston at home, so they got a chance to get to 30.
Ouch.
Stubbs is drilled on a 1-2 pitch. So now the Indians with 2 on and 2 out.
Yeah, he gets under that one. Oh, right in the ribs.
Yeah.
Ouch, that didn't feel good at all. That hurt just watching it.
Get the next 4 days to let that one heal up. Might take a week.
Yeah. That does not feel good.
Bourne in there, taking a called strike. Michael with a couple of singles and a run scored today. Laid down a sacrifice bunt that set up that 3-run 6th inning. Out of play. 0-2 the count. All things considered, though, this portion of the Indian schedule leading into the All-Star break, it's been a fun team to watch. It's been very entertaining baseball. It's an offense that certainly has brought a lot of excitement.
It's an offense that never quits.
Swung on and missed. Bourne goes down swinging. And we go to the 8th inning with the Tribe in front 6-4.
And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Six-4 Indians leading it here in the 8th inning. Joe Smith coming on for the Tribe.
But he's a guy that's looking forward to the break. He's been used a lot in the last week.
This is
Perez.
41st appearance of the year. One more than Cody Allen. So he's going to take a 1 appearance lead into the All-Star break, it would appear. David Lowe with a couple of hits on the day. Grounded just foul. Boy, that was close. Hugging the line. And Swisher with a diving attempt, but all for naught. Now Smith, the 1-2. Ooh. Not by much. 2-2.
A lot of times that's that breaking ball that comes over the outside corner that locks up the left-handers, but this one just wrapped around the plate.
High pop foul, out of play. Now the 2-2. High pop. The third baseman, Chisenhall. That wind's blowing it toward the seats. Did he get there?
Yes,
he did. Nice play by Lonnie Chisenhall, just over the railing, and hangs on for out number 1.
That wind did have a little bit to do with that ball moving in there. It looked like he was going to stay in play and catch it. He gets over to the railing and makes a nice scoop right at the end. Gets over there, flips it up. Out number 1.
Danny Menlick taking cover over there. Tribe photographer. That would have caught him square in the coconut. Lonnie saved him.
He knows better. He's been in enough games over in that camera bay. He knows when to bail.
Johnny Giavotella has walked, grounded out, was hit by a pitch. Bounce to third. Chisenhall guns it over. Got him. 2 down. Remember to join Andre Knott tonight at 7 for All Bets Are Off. And then Jimmy Hanlon is in the golf zone at 9 tonight on Sports Time Ohio. And one more big one coming up here, the PGA Championship, right?
Yes.
When is that got to be?
It's about another week or so, isn't it?
Early August?
Yeah. Well, make that a few weeks.
Oh, gosh, yeah, I keep thinking it's not quite the end of July.
No, it's only mid-July. We're on break.
This is one of those lazy summer afternoons that you kill for about the middle of January here in northeastern Ohio.
Oh, you dream about.
Uh-huh. A perfect sun-splashed afternoon here at the ballpark. Joe Smith trying to make it a 1-2-3 8th inning. The Royals have only gone in order one time today, and that was back in the 3rd. A liner to second, caught by Kipnis. And Joe Smith sets him down 1-2-3 as KC is retired in order for the 2nd time this afternoon. 6-4 Indians as we move to the home half of the 8th inning. And Aaron Crow coming on to work for the Royals. He's got his Dribble Cabrera, Jason Kipnis, and Nick Swisher coming up. Indians Live comes your way following the ball game. Brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Stay tuned for that. The highlights, reaction, and a whole lot more. Foul back out of play. One ball, one strike. Back out of play. Down in the dirt. High fly ball, twisting out of play. Hitting a ball fouled on the left field line is like trying to hold a green when you're about 150 yards out with the wind blowing as hard as it is, right to left if you're at home plate.
Right. It takes it right into the seats.
You just don't have a chance if you're an outfielder running over that direction.
Yeah, a lot of times you see that ball go up, let's say, for the first two games, and you're going over there. You got a chance to catch it, if not catch it. Right back up the middle, and his Dribble Cabrera is going to head himself into the All-Star break on a pretty good note. 3 hits today, and that hopefully is a sign of good things to come. Well, that'll be a nice few days to sit back and think about. He had the big hit back in the 6th inning.
In-game box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. 2-run double for his Dribble Cabrera. That was a big knock, as we mentioned, and Carlos Santana's had a great day swinging the bat.
Well, the Indians with 12 hits.
And this guy, Jason Kipnis, the All-Star, with a sac fly and an RBI hit, couple of walks, a run scored.
Yeah, he's been on every time. He's done a nice job today.
Out of play.
He doesn't get a break. He gets to go play with the big boys on Tuesday night.
Runner goes. Throw down to second. Oh, I mean, what a perfect throw. Cabrera is erased. Salvador Perez has a tremendous throwing arm. Watch. Yeah, good pitch to throw on, but I mean, the throw is just perfect. Hanging breaking ball down the line, and Jason Kipnis has extra bases. That heads into the corner. He's on his way to second base. He's got a double. That's his 23rd two-bagger of the year.
Nice afternoon for Jason. Gets picked off, so he says, well, I'll just pick on a breaking ball, hit it down in the corner, and get myself into scoring position. Gets it past Hosmer at first base, so Jason goes cruising into second.
Swisher a swing and a miss. Swisher fly to deep left his last time up, 0 for 4 on the day. Back out of play. It's 0-2. Aaron Crow's 0-2 pitch. Swisher swing and a miss. He strikes out. 2 down. And it will bring up Michael Brantley. Chris Perez getting warm in the Tribe bullpen. He'll be looking to come on and close it out in the 9th inning. Slowly tapped up the middle. Scooped up by Escobar. And he throws him out by a whisker to end the inning. 8 complete. 6-4 Cleveland. The 9th is next. Chris Perez on to try and close it out. He's got the top of the order to deal with. 27th appearance. He's got 12 out of 14 saved so far this year.
Be facing the top of the lineup. It'll be Gordon, Hosmer, and Butler.
Gordon 2 hits today. 2 for 11 in the series. Chris Perez comes set. He fires. And fastball a little bit high. And a strike called evens it up. Swung on and missed. 1-2 the count. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. One down in the ninth. Good off-speed pitch. Had Gordon way out in front of it.
Yeah, you don't see him take many swings like he did on the second strike, and then Perez comes back with a good slider. It's out of the zone. He gets him to chase it, and he gets strikeout number one and out number one here in the ninth.
Eric Hosmer 0 for 4, 4 groundouts. And 3 of the 4 times he's grounded to the first baseman. All right, 2-0. There's a strike call. And a liner toward left field.
Oh,
Michael Brantley on the run.
Fall.
It's a fair ball. And up into the seats for a double. And Kansas City will bring the tying run to the plate.
Well, and that wind was pushing it away. I knew that was going to fall. It was a matter of, does it push it foul? But no, it hits right on that track and bounces into the seat for a ground rule double.
So Billy Butler, who is already 3 for 4 today and doubled his last time up, is the batter. And in there for a called strike. Fouled right back. Oh, 2 the count. The Indians hang on. They complete the sweep. Detroit has already won, shutting out Texas 5-0. Strike 3 called. Boy, it took him a while. Second strikeout of the inning for Chris Perez, and Billy Butler not happy as he trudges back to the dugout.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, oh boy, that was close, but it did take a while. You're right.
Yeah, that's right there.
Right on the outside edge. Gets the call. He doesn't like it, but it's a pretty good pitch. Awfully close to take with 2 strikes.
Salvador Perez, the last hope for Kansas City, 0 for 3 with a walk. Ground ball to short. Aviles on the big hop, throws over, and the Indians win it. They sweep the Royals. "6-4 is the final score as the Indians will go into the All-Star break riding a 4-game winning streak at a mark of 51-44 as Perez closes and saves his 13th game of the year. The Royals drop their 5th in a row. They fall to 43-49 on the season. The Indians will stay just a game and a half back of Detroit in the Central Division, while Kansas City is now 8 games off the pace. Terrific game. A lot of different people were involved in this one. And it's time now for our key play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank.
Yeah, you go back 6th inning as Drupal Cabrera, a couple of guys on, second and third, they move him over, and what does he do? Hits a bullet to right center field. Stayed on it nicely. It'll one-hop the wall to drive in a pair. The Indians took the lead, able to add on from that point. So that is going to be our key play of the game. Proud to be the banking home of the Cleveland Indians.
Indians win it 6-4 is the final. Jason Kipnis joins us on Indians Live next.